Hello again, whiskey friends. This is Kelsey here, just doing another quick review here for you on a new bottle that is just hitting the state of Arkansas right now. It is the Bernheim Original Kentucky Straight Wheat Whiskey. It is at barrel proof strength. That is at 118.8. If it'll focus, I guess it's not going to focus. But yeah, I wanted to jump into this because it just is getting more and more interesting as we get into wheat whiskeys becoming more of a thing. Lone Elm is doing a barrel proof wheat whiskey now. Bernheim is going to be releasing, I think they're going to do it 2 times a year instead of 3, if I remember correctly. So it'll be interesting to see how these things progress. I think the age on this one is supposed to be between 5 and 7 years old. So as these progress and see if they age a little bit more or if they're going to keep the same age, it'll be interesting to see what happens to that brand as well as the whiskey in the glass, which is what we're here to talk about. So let's kick off the show. Hey guys, welcome back. So we're going to jump into this right away. The mash bill on this Bernheim Kentucky Straight Wheat Whiskey is going to be 51% wheat, 37% corn, and 12% malted barley. So it's interesting to be a straight Kentucky Straight Wheat Whiskey. Obviously, it's kind of the same thing as it is for a bourbon. It has to be a 51% at least wheat mash bill, and then it has a heavy corn content at 37%. So I expect this to be pretty sweet up front. I would think that it would be bright and forward, being that it's a wheat whiskey, but who knows? Let's go in and check it out. So right off the bat, I get like a toasted rye type of or wheat bread, not rye, but wheat bread that's been toasted and then has butter and maybe a little bit of sweet sugar on it. Right off the nose. Then it's laying in some caramels. And the further down you get in the glass, you get just a little hint, not a whole lot, but just a little bit of like maybe caramelized peanuts on there. The first time that I drank this, I was really surprised off the neck pour. I've drank a pretty good amount and shared some so far. So it's opened up a little bit since I first opened it. But right off the nose, you get all of that wonderful toasted bread note for me, wheat bread, with some sugar and butter, caramel, a little bit of fruit, but I can't put my finger on what that fruit note is right now. But overall, it's a little bit darker than I expected it to be. It's got some darker notes to it as you sit and sniff it. I think it's the caramel or caramel, whichever way you want to say it, and the slight peanut nut that's interesting to me on a wheat whiskey that I've never gotten before. The Lone Elm, which is aged in Texas, gets a really dark color. This actually has a pretty dark color as well for the whiskey, and it is relatively viscous. The legs on it are not too long on them. Let's give this guy a taste. Thank you. So on the palate, that the darker notes kind of come through a little bit more. You get more of those caramelized peanut notes that I'm getting a little bit more accentuated. But it's different for a wheat whiskey that I was anticipating it being. It's got those darker notes that we were talking about. A little bit of honey in this as well on the palate. Man, that's just good. I get a little bit of spice, which is interesting. I didn't expect a wheat spice to kind of happen, but it happens towards the middle and the back part of the palate. It's got a great finish on it. It's still lasting. It's still coating. It's got a pretty good mouthfeel on it as well, which I'm surprised by. again, just not really knowing what to expect from a wheat whiskey and how it was going to translate. I would have typically thought it would have been a little bit brighter and softer, but this comes across really really dark as far as some of the notes, and it's really well balanced and round. Yeah. So overall, this is just a great sipper, man. Like I wouldn't have thought it would drink 118. It's probably to me like 112, 113. It doesn't have that extra punch, but you do get some of that spice on the middle of the palate and the back of the palate. The more that you drink, the sips stay pretty consistent as far as from front to back, what notes you're getting. So if you guys haven't seen this or want to go check it out, I would advise you to do so. This is the first release. I think they're going to release 2 times a year. This is batch A123 at 18.8%. So like I said, make sure you guys go check that out. And I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and look forward to doing more of these reviews with you. I think I'm going to be comparing some other things later on this week or next week with what a bourbon wheated bourbon would taste like versus what a wheat whiskey would tasted like. So we'll kind of do some of those back and forth, as well as some shelfer videos coming up from Jeff, as well as myself and Darrell. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. Until next time, you guys have a great day, and cheers to you.
Jeff, just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these